Combating drug abuse is not only the responsibility of the government, still not ready yet to legalize any kind of substance. Hello everyone. My name is Idahun Abigail's Aim and I'm a lawyer by profession. I have been in the field of law for the past 11 years now, so I have my fair share of experience in drug-related cases as well. Of course, I am open for suggestions and there's always room for development, like they say. But from the little experience that I have as an advocate, I've had witnessed firsthand the implications and the devastating implications, if I may say, of drug abuse in the society as a whole. Now, as we all are aware that drug abuse is a significant social as well as a legal challenge in the society. Of course, there are very stringent laws in place. For instance, we have the NDPS Act 1985. Like they say, it is a robust legal framework that helps in combating drug-related cases in the country. It has provisions in place for consumption, for sale, for manufacture, possession, import, export, and many classification of offences are there. But when we come to talk of the drug abuse in the legal aspect, of course, there are many rehabilitation and treatment provisions as well in place, which personally I feel is the most important key provision in the Act. But I feel like society as a whole plays a very important role in striking a balance between the rehabilitation and the punishment of drug-related cases. So combating drug abuse is not only the responsibility of the government and the law enforcement agencies, but it is also a responsibility of the entire society as a whole, and most importantly of the family, the parents, the teachers, and whoever are closely knit with the adolescents, because they are the most affected group of the society in relation to drug abuse cases. But in relation to talking about awareness campaigns, what I personally feel is that we most of the times talk about creating awareness only to that particular section of the society, that is the adolescents or the youths who are more vulnerable into getting into drug abuse. But we fail to understand, or we simply forget sometimes, that parents and families also very equally important role in this aspect. So I feel that there should be awareness and campaigns also targeted towards the parents, so as to enable them to identify the early signs and symptoms of drug abuse, and also to enable the parents and the family to have an open discussion with their children or their brothers or their sisters about drug abuse, so that whoever is affected or is prospectively affected of drugs will be able to have an open communication, open conversation with the children. With the parents. Okay, so coming to the topic of legalizing various substances in the country, I feel personally, of course, this is a debatable topic that is open for discussion. But personally, I feel, I am open for correction again, but personally I feel there are many pros and cons. Pros being, if for instance cannabis is legalized, then the consumers will be forced to purchase from recognized dealers instead of going about and purchasing it from unauthorized dealers. So that is one pros, and there are many cons. For instance, like they say, cannabis is a gateway drug and it opens up a person to many other drugs. But having said that, I feel India at the moment is not ready to legalize any substance for various factors, one being socio-economic factors, and there is the problem of lack of resources, because there are many aspects that is important to be considered. For instance, we don't have enough medical facilities, we don't have enough rehabilitation centers, we don't have enough service providers to be able to combat or to be able to deal with addiction. if and when substances are legalized. So I feel personally at the moment we are not ready yet. Maybe a few years down the line, when people are more aware, when people are more mindful of their habits and their lifestyle, probably then. But at the moment I feel we are still not ready yet to legalize any kind of substance. When it comes to the role of family, there are two parts. When we talk about the role of family, first part is the pre-drug dependency stage, and the second part is the post-drug dependency stage. In the first part, you have to be very careful with your children or your any family member. As a matter of fact, it might be your parent as well. You have to be very aware of your own lifestyle and how it will impact the young ones in the family. For instance, if the father or the mother, as the case may be, is dependent on any kind of drugs or any kind of alcoholic substance, then eventually the children or the sisters or the brothers who are in the family, they will also be open to it. They will also be introduced to it to some extent and probably get into it. So the family role pre-drug dependency also plays an important role to the effect that we have to be mindful of our ways and our lifestyle. And when it comes to the other stage, that is post-drug dependency stage, which means that if a family member is already, if you're aware that a family member is already dependent on drugs, what is your role then? I feel as a family, what we can do is firstly to accept and not be in denial, to accept that yes, your family member is dependent on drugs, and to think ahead of what to do next. Firstly, I feel to take it as a challenge as a family, to understand that it is a medical condition and it is not something that he or she is doing to be considered as a rebellious behavior. Understand that first, accept that it is a medical condition, and then go about, take them to a rehabilitation center, keep supporting them throughout, and not ridicule them or not ostracize them or not neglect them because of that particular medical condition. So I feel, it also impacts the family. Like I said earlier, the drug abuse impacts the family also to a very large extent, but the family roles and the family values also impacts a person who is already dependent on drugs. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
was it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
So yeah, that's about it. I feel like there is a lot more to work on as a society, and we'll have to understand that drug abuse is not just a rebellious behavior of a person. I mean, being dependent to drugs is not just a behavioral attitude, but it is also an illness. And if we look at it in that aspect or in that perspective, I think a lot of change can happen in the society as a whole. Thank you.